I knew something was wrong the second I pulled into the driveway. The front door was wide open, not just unlocked open, like someone was moving furniture or moving out. I grabbed the grocery bags from the passenger seat, my heart already picking up speed. I'd only been gone an hour, 1 hour to buy milk and bread and the herbal tea that helps me sleep. What could possibly happen in 1 hour? Everything, apparently. I walked through the front door and froze. My late husband's rocking chair, the one he'd built with his own hands 30 years ago, the one that still smelled faintly of his cologne if you buried your face in the cushion, was sitting in the hallway. Just sitting there, like trash waiting for pickup. What? I didn't even finish the sentence before I heard her voice upstairs, humming, actually humming. I dropped the grocery bags on the kitchen counter and climbed the stairs, my knees aching with each step. The hallway was longer than usual. Or maybe it just felt that way because I knew, somehow, that whatever I was about to see would change everything. My bedroom door was open, and there she was. Rachel, my daughter-in-law, standing at my vanity. No, wait, not my vanity, her vanity. A sleek white thing with a giant mirror and about 1,000 little bottles and brushes scattered across the top. It was sitting exactly where my hope chest used to be. The hope chest my mother gave me when I got married. The one that held my wedding dress, my husband's letters from when he was deployed, every birthday card my son ever made me. Gone. Rachel, my voice came out strangled. What are you doing? She glanced at me in the mirror, didn't even turn around, just kept spraying perfume on her wrists like I was interrupting her. Oh, hey, she smiled, casual, easy, like she was rearranging a guest room. I'm just getting settled in. Settled in? I stepped into the room, my room, and that's when I saw it. Her clothes, everywhere. Spilling out of my closet, draped over my reading chair, piled on my bed. My bed. The one I'd shared with my husband for 40 years. The one I still sleep on the left side of, even though he's been gone for 3. This is my room, I said. My hands were shaking. This is my bedroom. Rachel finally turned around. She was holding a lipstick. Red. Bright. Aggressive red. Not anymore, she said. And she said it so calmly, so matter-of-factly, that for a second I thought I'd misheard her. Excuse me? Michael and I talked about it. She turned back to the mirror, applying the lipstick in slow, deliberate strokes. You're getting older. The stairs are hard on you. It makes more sense for you to take the basement. It's all set up down there. We moved a bed in this morning. You'll have your own space. The basement. She wanted me to live in the basement. The place where we stored Christmas decorations, where the washer and dryer were, where the concrete floor got cold in the winter and the tiny window barely let in any light. Michael agreed to this? My voice cracked. I hated that it cracked. Of course. She capped the lipstick. He's your son. He knows what's best for you. What's best for me? Like I was a child. Like I was some confused old woman who couldn't make her own decisions. I looked around the room. My room. The room where I'd rocked my son to sleep when he had nightmares. Where I'd cried when we got the call that my husband's cancer was terminal. Where I'd sat on the edge of the bed every morning for the last 3 years, talking to his photo on the nightstand, trying to figure out how to keep living without him. And now this woman, this stranger who'd been in our lives for barely 2 years, was erasing me. Where's my hope chest? I asked quietly. Oh, that old thing? She waved a hand. It's in the garage. Don't worry, nothing got damaged. The garage. My entire life, packed away in the garage like junk. I felt something crack open inside me. Something that had been barely holding together since my husband died. Since I'd tried so hard to be the good mother-in-law, the helpful one, the one who didn't complain when they moved in temporarily 2 years ago and never left. The one who paid the heating bill and the water bill and bought the groceries while Rachel got her nails done and redecorated the living room. I'd been invisible for so long, but I wasn't gone yet. Get out, I said. Rachel laughed. Actually laughed. Excuse me? Get out of my room. She turned fully now, arms crossed. I think you're confused. Michael and I don't care what you and Michael discussed. My voice was steady now. Cold. This is my house. My name is on the deed, and you're standing in my bedroom touching my things like you own them. So I'm going to say this one more time. Get out. Her smile faltered. Just for a second. But it was enough. You're being ridiculous, she said, but her voice was different now, uncertain. I pulled my phone out of my pocket. What are you doing? She asked. I didn't answer. I just scrolled through my contacts and hit call. It rang once, twice. Who are you calling? Rachel demanded. Her voice was sharper now, nervous. 3 times. Then, a voice I hadn't heard in 6 months answered. Hello? I looked Rachel dead in the eye. Hi, sweetheart, I said into the phone. It's Mom. I need you to come over. Right now. Rachel's face went white. Because she knew exactly who I'd just called. My lawyer daughter. The one she thought had stopped speaking to me. The one who was about to remind her whose house this really was. Michael walked through the door 45 minutes later, and I knew Rachel had already gotten to him. I could see it in his face. The way his jaw was set. The way he wouldn't quite meet my eyes. Mom, he said it like a sigh. Like I was the problem. What's going on? I was sitting at the kitchen table, waiting. My hands folded in front of me like I was about to lead a business meeting. Because that's exactly what this was. Business. Rachel appeared behind him, her hand on his shoulder. Supportive, concerned, the perfect wife. Your mother called Sarah, she said softly. She seemed upset. Seemed upset, like I was having some kind of episode. I'm upset, I said. I came home to find your wife moving into my bedroom and my things thrown in the garage like garbage. Mom, Michael started, but I held up my hand. Sit down, both of you. Rachel's eyes narrowed, but Michael pulled out a chair. She followed, sitting beside him, her fingers laced through his, a united front. I looked at my son, really looked at him. When had he stopped being the little boy who used to climb into my lap during thunderstorms? When had he become this man who let his wife erase his own mother? We were going to talk to you about this, Michael said. His voice was careful, rehearsed. Rachel and I have been discussing it for a while. The stairs are getting harder for you. You said so yourself last month. And the basement is actually really nice now. We set up a bed, got you a space heater. The basement is where we keep broken things, I said quietly. Rachel jumped in, her voice dripping with false sweetness. We just think it would be easier for you. You're getting older, and we worry about you falling. The bedroom upstairs, it just makes more sense for us. We're younger, we can handle the stairs better, and honestly, she glanced at Michael, we need the space. For when we start a family. Ah, there it was. They weren't just taking my room, they were erasing me to make room for their future. And did it occur to either of you, I said, my voice steady, to ask me before you started moving my life around? We are asking, Rachel said. We're asking now. No, you're telling me, there's a difference. Michael leaned forward. Mom, please, don't make this harder than it needs to be. We're trying to do what's best for everyone. What's best for everyone? I repeated. Tell me, Michael, when you and your wife discussed what was best for everyone, did you happen to remember who owns this house? The room went quiet. Rachel's smile flickered. What? I reached down beside my chair and pulled out the folder I'd retrieved from my filing cabinet while I waited. The one I kept in the back, behind the old tax returns and insurance papers. The one I hadn't needed to look at in years because I'd never imagined I'd need to defend my right to exist in my own home. I opened it slowly, deliberately, and I slid the property deed across the table. Michael stared at it, then at me. Mom, what is this? Read it, I said. He picked it up. His eyes scanned the document, and I watched the color drain from his face. It's just your name, he said quietly. That's right. Rachel snatched the paper from his hands. That can't be right. Michael, you said… I said I grew up here, Michael interrupted. I never said my name was on the deed. But you told me. Rachel's voice was rising. You said this was your childhood home. You said, it is his childhood home, I said calmly. But it's my house. Mine and my late husband's. And when he passed, it became mine alone. Legally, completely, mine. Rachel's coffee mug was shaking in her hand, actually shaking. I could see the ripples on the surface of the liquid. You've been living under my roof for 2 years, I continued. Rent-free, bill-free. I paid the heating when it was so cold last January you kept the thermostat at 75. I paid the water when you took 40-minute showers every morning. I bought the groceries while you redecorated my living room and told me my couch was dated. Mom, we contribute? Michael tried. You mow the lawn twice a month, I said. And last Christmas you bought me a candle. Do you know what my property taxes are, Michael? Do you know what the insurance costs? The maintenance? He looked down at the table. You don't, I said. Because you've never asked. Neither of you has ever asked what it costs to keep this house running. You just assumed you were entitled to it. Entitled to me taking care of everything while you, I looked at Rachel, redecorated and planned your future. This is insane, Rachel said. Her voice was sharp now, defensive. Michael, are you going to let her talk to me like this? But Michael wasn't looking at her. He was looking at the deed, at his missing name. I didn't know, he said quietly. Dad always said. Your father wanted you to inherit it someday, I said. My voice softened, just slightly. When I'm gone, not when you decide I'm too old to matter. Rachel stood up abruptly. So what? You're going to kick us out? Your own son? I didn't say that. Then what are you saying? I looked at her, really looked at her. This woman who'd walked into our lives and slowly, methodically, tried to erase me, who'd convinced my son that I was the burden, that I was the one who needed to be managed. I folded my hands on top of the deed. So here's what's going to happen, I said. Rachel's eyes widened. And for the first time since she'd moved into this house, I saw something in her face I'd never seen before. Fear. Real, genuine fear. Because she'd just realized something. She had no power here. And she never had. You have 2 choices, I said. Rachel was still standing, her hands gripping the back of the chair like she might fall without it. Michael was staring at the deed like it might change if he looked at it long enough. Choice 1, I continued. Rachel moves her things out of my bedroom by tomorrow morning. All of them. My hope chest comes back inside. My furniture goes back where it belongs. And starting next month, you both contribute to the household expenses. Real contributions. We split utilities 3 ways. You pay for your own groceries. And we all sit down together with a family counselor. A counselor? Rachel's voice was shrill. You think we need therapy because you're being unreasonable? I think we need therapy because my son helped his wife move me into a basement without asking me first, I said. And because somewhere along the way, this family forgot how to talk to each other. Michael flinched. Good. He should. What's choice 2? He asked quietly. I met his eyes. My son. My baby boy. The one I'd rocked to sleep and bandaged scraped knees for and cheered at every baseball game. The one who used to bring me dandelions from the yard and call them roses. Choice 2, I said. You find somewhere else to live. I'll give you 30 days. That's more than fair. You can't be serious. Rachel's voice cracked. Michael, she can't be serious. But Michael wasn't looking at her. He was looking at me. And I could see it the moment he realized I meant every word. Mom, that's... He ran a hand through his hair. That's extreme. Is it? I leaned back in my chair. Tell me, Michael, what would you do if someone moved into your home and tried to relocate you to the basement? What would you do if someone treated you like you were invisible? That's not what we were doing. Then what were you doing? Silence. Rachel's breathing was rapid, shallow. We were trying to help you. We were trying to make things easier. By taking my room, by throwing away my things, by making decisions about my life without even asking me? My voice rose despite myself. You want to help me, Rachel? Then help me understand how any of this was for my benefit. She opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. Nothing came out. The spa days, I said quietly. The shopping trips, the redecorating. I paid for all of it, every single bit of it, while you told me my furniture was ugly, while you sighed every time I asked if you could pick up milk when you were already at the store, while you acted like I was some kind of burden in my own home. That's not fair, Michael said, but his voice was weak. What's not fair, I said, is that I've been a guest in my own house for 2 years. What's not fair is that I didn't say anything because I didn't want to lose you. Because after your father died, you were all I had left, and I was so afraid that if I complained, if I stood up for myself, you'd leave and I'd be alone. My voice broke on the last word. Michael's face crumpled. Mom, but you know what I realized today? I continued. I've been alone anyway. You've been here, but you haven't seen me. Neither of you has. Rachel's jaw clenched. This is ridiculous. Michael, we don't have to listen to this. Let's just go upstairs. No, I said sharply. You're going to listen, because this is my house, and these are my terms. You have until 8 o'clock tomorrow morning to move your things out of my bedroom. You have until the end of the week to decide if you're staying or going. And if you're staying, we make an appointment with a counselor, and we figure out how to be a family again. A real family. Not this arrangement where I'm treated like I'm in the way. And if we don't agree? Rachel's voice was ice. Then you pack your things and you leave. Both of you. You'd really kick out your own son? She looked at Michael. You hear this? She'd throw you out on the street. I'm not throwing anyone out on the street, I said. I'm giving you 30 days to find a place. That's more notice than you gave me when you decided the basement was good enough for the woman who raised him. Michael stood up abruptly. I need air. He walked out. Just walked right out the back door into the yard. And for a moment, it was just me and Rachel. She stared at me, really stared at me, and I saw it, the calculation, the realization that her tears wouldn't work here, her manipulation wouldn't work, that for the first time since she'd walked into this family, she'd met someone who wouldn't bend. You're making a mistake, she said quietly. Maybe, I said. But it's my mistake to make. In my house. She stood up, shoving her chair back so hard it scraped against the floor. Fine, she spat. We'll move the stuff, but don't expect me to thank you for it. I don't expect anything from you, Rachel, I said. Except respect, and even that might be asking too much. She stormed upstairs, and within seconds, I heard it. Drawers slamming, hangers clattering against the closet rod, footsteps heavy and angry across the ceiling, the sounds of someone who'd never been told no before. Someone who'd never had to face consequences. Michael came back in 20 minutes later. He didn't say anything, just stood in the doorway, looking lost. You can hate me if you need to, I said softly, but I won't apologize for this. He nodded slowly. Then he went upstairs too. And I sat there, alone, at the kitchen table where I'd fed my son breakfast every morning before school, where my husband and I used to play cards on Friday nights, where I'd signed the deed after he died, my hand shaking so badly I could barely hold the pen. I made tea, chamomile, the kind that's supposed to calm you down. It went cold while I sat there listening to them argue above my head, muffled voices, sharp tones, Rachel's voice high and angry, Michael's low and tired. The sounds of a marriage under stress. The sounds of a family breaking. Or maybe the sounds of a family finally being honest. I don't know what time I finally went to bed. Late. Very late. I slept in the guest room. I wasn't about to sleep in the basement, and my room was still full of Rachel's things. But when I woke up the next morning, when I walked upstairs with my coffee, something was different. My bedroom door was open. Wide open. I stepped inside. The vanity was gone. The clothes were gone. My hope chest was back in its place by the window. My husband's rocking chair was in the corner where it belonged. But when I walked to the window and looked outside, I saw something that made my heart stop. Rachel's car was gone. And when I opened Michael's closet, the one in the guest room where they'd been staying, half of it was empty. Hangers swinging on the rod. Drawers pulled out and abandoned. Gone. Michael didn't leave with her. That was the first surprise. I found him in the guest room that morning, sitting on the edge of the bed, staring at his phone. He looked like he hadn't slept. His hair was a mess. His eyes were red. "She's at her sister's," he said without looking up. "She said she needs space." I didn't know what to say to that, so I didn't say anything. I just closed the door and went about my day. 3 days passed like that. Michael went to work, came home, microwaved leftovers, went to his room. I heard him on the phone sometimes, his voice low and tense through the walls, but he didn't talk to me. Not really. Just, "Good morning," and "I'll be late tonight," and "Did you need anything from the store?" Polite, distant, like we were strangers living in the same house. On the third evening, I was washing dishes when I heard footsteps behind me. I turned around, and there he was, standing in the kitchen doorway, his hands shoved in his pockets, his shoulders hunched. He looked like a little boy again. "Can we talk?" he asked. I dried my hands on the dish towel. Of course. We sat at the kitchen table, the same table where I'd shown him the deed, where everything had changed. For a long moment, he just stared at his hands. Then he spoke. "She wanted me to put you in a home." The words came out quiet, broken. I felt my breath catch. "Rachel," he continued, "she'd been researching places, assisted living facilities. She showed me brochures, told me it would be better for you, that you'd have people your own age, activities, care." "Michael." I almost agreed. His voice cracked. "Mom, I almost signed the papers. She made it sound so reasonable. She said you were lonely, that the house was too much for you, that we'd visit all the time, and you'd be happier." Tears were streaming down his face now. "But it wasn't about you being happier, was it?" He looked up at me, his eyes red and raw. "It was about getting you out of the way, about having the house to ourselves." And God, Mom, I believed her. I reached across the table, my hand found his. "She convinced me you were a burden," he whispered, "that taking care of you was too much, that I was sacrificing my marriage by letting you stay. And I was so tired, and she was so persistent, and I stopped seeing you." "Michael." "No, let me finish." He squeezed my hand. "When Dad died, I promised him I'd take care of you. I promised. And instead, I let someone else tell me you didn't matter, that you were in the way, that the woman who raised me, who sacrificed everything for me, was somehow disposable." His voice broke completely. "I'm so sorry, Mom. I'm so sorry." And then my son, my grown son, my 32-year-old son, put his head down on the table and sobbed. I got up and moved to his side. I wrapped my arms around him the way I used to when he was small, when he'd fall off his bike or strike out at baseball or get his heart broken by some girl who didn't deserve him. "I forgive you," I whispered into his hair. "I forgive you." "I don't know how you can," he choked out. "Because you're my son," I said. "And because you're here now. You're really here. You're seeing me again." We stayed like that for a long time, both of us crying, the evening light streaming through the window, turning everything gold and soft. When we finally pulled apart, Michael wiped his face with his sleeve. "I don't know if I can fix this," he said. "My marriage, us, any of it." "Maybe you can't fix it," I said. "Maybe you just have to start over, build something new." He nodded slowly. "Do you love her?" I asked. The question I'd been afraid to ask. He was quiet for a moment. "I don't know anymore. I thought I did. But the woman I fell in love with, I don't know if she was ever real, or if I just wanted her to be." I didn't have an answer for that, so I just held his hand across the table. The same table where my husband used to sit, where we'd made plans and paid bills and celebrated birthdays, where I'd felt so alone 3 days ago. But I wasn't alone now. My son was here, really here, for the first time in years. A week later, the doorbell rang. I was folding laundry in the living room. Michael was at work. I almost didn't answer it. But something made me walk to the door. Rachel stood on the porch. She looked different, smaller somehow. Her hair was pulled back in a simple ponytail, no makeup, dark circles under her eyes. "Hi," she said quietly. I didn't say anything. Can I come in?" I stepped aside. She walked past me into the living room, stood there awkwardly, like she wasn't sure if she was allowed to sit. "Michael's not here," I said. "I know. I wanted to talk to you." I waited. She took a deep breath. "I'm sorry. For all of it. For the room, for the way I treated you, for everything. I was wrong, and I want to ask if we can start over." I studied her face, looking for the lie, the manipulation, the calculation. But all I saw was exhaustion, and something that might have been shame. "Why?" I asked. "Why what? Why do you want to start over? Because you miss Michael? Because you need a place to live? Or because you actually regret what you did?" She flinched. "All of it. Maybe. I don't know. I didn't think you'd actually stand up to me, I thought." She trailed off. "You thought I'd disappear," I finished. She nodded, tears sliding down her cheeks. "I'm not a good person. I know that, but I want to be better, if you'll let me try." I looked at this woman, this stranger who'd tried to erase me, who'd convinced my son I was worthless. And I thought about what Michael had said, about starting over, building something new. "You can stay," I said finally. Her face lit up. "But," I continued, "on my terms, you earn back every inch of trust you shattered. You go to counseling with me, with Michael, by yourself if you need to. You contribute. You respect this house and the people in it, and if you ever try something like this again." I let the sentence hang. Rachel nodded quickly. "I understand. Thank you. I won't let you down." I watched her leave, and I wondered if people really could change, or if I'd just made the biggest mistake of my life. 6 months later, I wake up in my own bed. That's still the first thought every morning. My own bed. In my own room. With the sunrise coming through my window. Some mornings I still can't believe I almost lost it. I get up slowly, my knees don't move like they used to, and I walk to the window. My husband's rocking chair is in the corner where it belongs. I run my hand over the armrest, feel the grooves his fingers wore into the wood over 30 years. "Good morning," I whisper to him, like I do every day. Then I make my way downstairs. The house is quiet. Michael's already at work. He leaves early now, comes home earlier too. Spends more time here, really here, not just physically present. Rachel's car is in the driveway. She works from home 3 days a week now, got a job doing medical billing. It's not glamorous, but it's steady. And every month, like clockwork, she transfers her share of the utilities into my account. I make coffee, the good kind. The kind I stopped buying for a while because it felt wasteful to spend money on myself. I don't feel that way anymore. The kitchen table has become our meeting place. Every Sunday morning, the three of us sit here with breakfast and go over the week. Bills, schedules, therapy appointments. Yes, therapy. All three of us, together and separately. It's awkward sometimes, painful sometimes. Last month, Rachel cried through an entire session talking about her mother, about feeling like she was never enough, about trying to control everything because it was the only way she felt safe. I'm not sure I'll ever fully understand her, but I'm starting to see her as a person, not just the woman who tried to erase me. She's not who I would have chosen for Michael. She's sharp where I wish she was soft, selfish where I wish she was generous. She still rolls her eyes when I suggest we have family dinners, still sighs when I ask her to pick up her coffee cups from the living room. But she's trying. That has to count for something. Last week, she asked if I wanted to go shopping with her. Not for her, for me. Said I needed some new clothes, that we could make a day of it. I almost said no. Old habits. But then I thought about the woman I was 6 months ago, the woman who was afraid to take up space, who let herself become invisible. So I said yes. We went to lunch afterward, sat across from each other at a little cafe downtown, and for the first time we talked, really talked, about her childhood, about mine, about how hard it is to be a daughter-in-law, to live in someone else's space. I felt like I was always being judged, she admitted, like nothing I did was good enough. I felt like I was always in the way, I said, like my own existence was an inconvenience. We looked at each other across the table, and something shifted. Not forgiveness, exactly. Not yet. Maybe not ever completely. but understanding. A recognition that we'd both been fighting battles the other couldn't see. Michael's healing too. Slower, messier, but healing. He talks about his dad now. Really talks. Not just the sanitized memories, but the hard stuff. How scared he was watching him die, how lost he felt after. How he threw himself into his marriage because he didn't know how else to deal with the grief. I blamed you, he told me in therapy last month, for being here when he wasn't, for being the reminder of what I lost. It hurt to hear, but it was honest. And honesty, I'm learning, is the only way forward. This morning I take my coffee to the rocking chair by the window. The sun is just coming up, painting the sky pink and gold. My garden is overgrown. I need to weed the roses, but it's mine. My space. My peace. The house creaks around me. Old bones settling. Like me. I hear footsteps upstairs, the shower turning on, the sound of life continuing. My life. In my house. On my terms. I think about the woman I was 6 months ago. Standing in that doorway with grocery bags in my hands, watching someone else take over my room. My space. My existence. I think about how close I came to disappearing. How easy it would have been to just accept it, move to the basement, make myself smaller, quieter, less. But I didn't. I stood my ground. Not because I'm brave, not because I'm strong, but because I finally remembered something I'd forgotten in the years since my husband died, in the fog of grief and loneliness and trying to hold on to my son by any means necessary. I remembered that I matter. That my space matters, my voice matters, my life matters. Some battles aren't about winning. They're not about proving you're right or making other people admit they're wrong. They're about refusing to disappear. About claiming your right to exist fully, loudly, unapologetically in your own life. I take a sip of my coffee, watch the sun climb higher, and I smile. Because this room was always mine. I just had to remind them and myself what I'm worth.